There are certain days you can never forget in your life. Days you can never forget because of how great or how bad they were. Memorable days either for the highs or for the lows, the outstanding successes or the embarrassing failures. Great days like the day you graduated from secondary school, got into the university or got your very first job. Or embarrassing days like the day in secondary school that I had a boner and I had to stand in front of the class. Embarrassing days indeed, unforgettable days indeed. It was just few weeks before the 2020 Lagos City Marathon that I had one of such days. On my way home from a fast food place, I had just passed these two guys who were arguing beside a tricycle. The next thing I know, there's this sharp, intense pain shooting through my body, originating from my left foot. For what seemed like eternity, my foot was tangled in the front wheel of this tricycle while the driver kept on moving. After about a minute or two, my foot eventually got loose and this guy just sped off without even taking a second look to see who he had hurt. Apparently, what had happened was this tricycle rider, Keke Marwa, like we like to call them in Lagos, had been arguing with a tout, Agbero, like we also like to call them here in Lagos, who had been hassling him for money. Eventually, I ended up being the victim of this tricycle rider's successful attempt to evade his hassler, with my foot getting stuck in the wheel of the tricycle in the process. Now, the tricycle was long gone, but here I was with my left foot in so much pain and with blood all over it. To tell you how long my foot was probably stuck in the wheel of this tricycle, I remember that I had the time to think, God, let it not be broken. Let my foot not be broken. If my foot gets broken, that's the end of my dream to run the 2020 Lagos City Marathon. You know, I now understood how high-performing athletes like footballers feel when they get seriously injured before that significant tournament. Why you see them in tears as they are being carried away on the stretcher in that game just before that significant and very important tournament they would have loved to participate in. But you just talk about devastation and talk about a heart-rending moment. You know, but I was just so happy that after my foot got loose from the tricycle, I moved it a little and discovered that it wasn't broken. Eventually, I was able to limp all the way home. After 2 weeks of treating with ice and a special balm, the swelling had reduced and the wound had healed enough for me to resume running. Eventually, I was recovered well enough for me to go on to run, and not just run, but finish the 2020 Lagos City Marathon. The entire experience reminded me of how, you know, you are just going about minding your business, and the next thing you know is you get this sneak attack from those sneaky, slimy dogs who are scared to face you face to face. You know them, right? And that experience, what God was just saying to me was that, you know what this means, right, Kayode? That the devil is afraid of you. He's afraid of what you can be. He's afraid of what you can achieve. It just reminds me of that particular scripture that says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, goes about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. I like the way another translation puts it. It says, keep a cool head, stay alert, because the devil is poised to pounce and he would like nothing better than to catch you napping. Keep your guard up. Now, what this simply tells us is the devil is not a lion. He only goes about like a roaring lion. His strength, his power is in the noise that he makes. He's all back, no bite. And just like those sneaky, slimy dogs that you and I know, who their strategy and their plan is to attack when you are not looking, that's just his strategy. That's just his goal. His goal is to scare us. His goal is intimidation, to get you to pull back from something, to pull back from that significant goal that you are trying to achieve, to pull back from that life-changing goal that you want to achieve. from those dreams, those desires, from you going on to become your best version of yourself. Now, once we understand that, what do? We don't give him any chance. We don't give him any leeway. We make sure that we keep a cool head. We stay alert. We keep our guard up and we stand our ground. We stand our ground because we understand that no matter how great destructive power may seem, creative power will always be greater than destructive power. And the interesting thing is that that creative power is in us. That creative power is in you. That creative power is in me. If we are really going to live a life of no excuses, a life where we go on to exceed our limits, break barriers, crush our goals, and go on to be those high performers that God has created us to be, it's helpful to remember that on our journey to achieving those significant life-changing goals, that the devil will definitely attack us. He will try to stop us. He will try to throw the spanner into the works, to call that dream, that goal, and that project to fall apart and to fail. But what do? We don't unwillingly give him more room for mischief. We are not ignorant of his ways. We are not ignorant of his cunning, his crafty and clever ways, his clever design. His way, which is to do one thing and to do one thing alone, to pull us out of the way and to stop us from going after that goal that we want to achieve. We understand that if we weren't doing anything significant with our lives, he won't be bothered with us. The reason why he is bothered, the reason why he attacks us, is because we are doing something great, we are doing something significant. And so we stand our ground and we forge ahead and move forward like real high performers do. Above all, we understand this important truth, that while it's his job to roar, it's our job to soar.